Welcome to Develop Your Model of Entrepreneurship. I'm Professor John Dobson. In this presentation, I'm going to introduce the key concepts of how entrepreneurs develop their ideas into opportunities. As we transition from an in-person class setting to an online format for the rest of the semester, I was thinking about the student experience and realized that this online format really provides a unique and powerful opportunity for students to experience entrepreneurship beyond the limitations of the classroom and the campus setting. And so the course changes that I've incorporated will enable students to expand and apply these entrepreneurial tools to their specific context. As we're looking to the assignment, what we want to do is take the DYME model to develop an idea into an opportunity. A real idea, not a hypothetical idea that you're going to develop an app to solve world hunger, but a real idea at the granular level. And so the requirement between now and when you present is that you spend the 4 to 6 hours actually developing your idea into an opportunity. Like I said, remember it has to be granular and something you can actually develop and test in a couple of weeks. And so your submission is really that DYME model, all 10 steps of how you've developed your idea into an opportunity. But remember, we're looking for quick wins that you can build upon later on if you continue with this idea. Or another way to look at it is you want to fail and fail fast. If you have this idea, you want to test it to make sure it really is going to work before you allocate a lot of time and resources. I had a student a year and a half ago from Harvard who had this idea for a business. He was willing to invest over a couple $100,000 into the business. He presented the idea to me and I said, perhaps you should take the course. And so he took the course and he realized that it really wasn't a viable business idea. And what was interesting is I had to stop him from investing the money. And oftentimes we invest money and resources because it gives us the pretense of working on the project. It's actually easier to invest a lot of money into an idea instead of actually doing the hard work of developing and testing these granular ideas to see if it really does resonate. And so as a reminder, what we're looking for and what I mean by granular is I don't want you, even if you're trying to solve hunger in America, which is a macroeconomic issue, we're moving below the food banks, we're moving below the organization that you're working at. But you're trying to impact that organization. But you have most authority and access really within your department or team. And so even though you have that authority and access at that departmental or team level, we want to go even lower because I don't want you to waste your social capital and political capital within the organization having them do something that in the end didn't work out. So go to a granular level. Think of 1 or 2 little problems that you can tweak. Use this model to tweak and test to see if this idea actually works. And what's happened a number of times is people will test it, and next thing you know, the thing really takes off, and they get these people that they've never seen before, or the word spreads about the project, and the project takes off. But I don't want you to have the project take off or make it take off until we get it right. So now I'm going to give you an example of how to complete your weekly assignment. As you start to think about how you're going to develop your model of entrepreneurship, here is a 4-step exercise that will come in handy to help you identify these ideas that are worth pursuing. So step 1 is to write down your idea. Write down 3 to 5 different ideas to fix these current problems that you're facing, each one on a separate sheet of paper. Then under each idea, identify your knowledge, skills, and abilities to develop that actual idea. So
you take the 3 or 5 ideas from step one and you think about how you can actually develop it. It's okay if your ideas are still forming and there's lots of gaps, because entrepreneurs function sort of within an ecosystem. But all I want you to do at this point is just briefly explain your idea. Step three is think of this network, this is exploiting networks of who can help you actually develop this idea. So we're looking for actual people who will help you develop the idea. And the power of entrepreneurship is that when you explain your idea to people, they tend to want to join because it's a compelling reason. It's a fun project. It's interesting. They have nothing else to do. So people will help you. So think of whose help you need and then include them in the next step. Now that you've done step 1, 2, and 3, it's now time to move to step 4, which is systemic thinking. So you want to get those people in the network that you think will help you develop the idea, or it can be friends and family. Get them into a group and explain your idea, or if you still haven't decided which is your idea, you can use that worksheet of those 3 ideas that you identified and pass those sheets of paper around and have everybody complete that component. Or you can just have a brainstorming discussion about how to actually develop the idea. What you want to get to is you want to decide which idea is actually worth pursuing. Once you've identified which idea is worth pursuing, you can take your idea through the DYME model, with the intention and the requirement as a course is that you spend 4 to 6 hours developing the idea. And so again, you bring your idea, you look inwardly to your knowledge, skills, and ability to develop it. You think about your network that can help you develop that idea. We've gotten to step 4, which is systemic thinking. Step 5 is really think about how your idea is different than the current offerings, because we have to get someone to adopt your solution versus what they're currently doing to solve their problem. And then you've identified who the customer is. And now that you know who the customer is, it's easy to figure out how to reach them through which channel you're going to reach them. And now that you know who the customer is and how to reach them the channel, then you can start developing your entrepreneurial marketing material. Low cost, no cost ways to get your message out there. What you say, how you say it, when you say it are all part of this entrepreneurial marketing. Step 5 is this effective selling. You can refer back to the longer explanation up above about these key elements of how people make decisions to buy or use your product or service. And then you get this feedback of what happened and what the customers are telling you, the ones who bought, the ones who didn't show up, and you have now come back to revise your idea. And so that's the 10-step process that you're going to spend the 4 to 6 hours working on. Once you've done the work, it's quite easy to present it through this virtuous cycle of entrepreneurship. And so what you're going to present is your idea, the action you took to implement it, the outcome, your reflection, and the self-efficacy. And so when you're thinking about the idea, just simply present the idea that you came up with. Really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. The action is you're going to describe the work you did this week, or if it's a bi-weekly assignment, bi-weekly. Review the steps 1 through 5 of the innovation, how you actually develop the idea, and then review and describe steps 6 through 10 of the commercialization, how you actually attempted to sell the idea. All of that goes under the action. The outcome. Just explain the results, plain and simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You can list your revenue, you can list your expenses, you can list your profit. You can also use this happy, sad face continuum. I thought it was going to go really well, and it went even better than I thought, or it didn't really work out. So just what happened. The next step is the reflection. This is sort of where a lot of the deeper learning comes in the entrepreneurial process. This is your opportunity to examine why what happened. In the class, the in-person class, we have this as part of our class discussion. If possible, we will do this via the Zoom classroom. We'll have just an in-class discussion where peers are able to give you feedback to help you understand why you got the results you did. And then the next step is the self-efficacy, is really the opportunity of the entrepreneur to close the circle. And this is really the power of entrepreneurship. We learn from our mistakes and learn how to do it better. So really the reflection is you identify the flaws. The self-efficacy is, now that I've learned this, how can I do it better next time? And it can be based on the class discussion. It can be based on personal reflection, depending on the format that we're going to use, and how you feel, what you feel was the most valuable piece of information. The power of the entrepreneur is you don't have to take the feedback that somebody gives you. You can think about it and say, you know what, it didn't work, and they told me to do this, but I think doing something different is better and more powerful. And so that's the end of sort of how we're going to present the material. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all in this new online platform, this digital classroom, and can't wait to see how you develop ideas beyond the constraints of the campus setting. I will be online and answering my emails on a regular basis if you have any questions or comments moving forward. I look forward to seeing you.